As the years pass, something subtle happens to life. The world doesn't necessarily become harder, but it does become quieter. The phone rings less, invitations slow down, time stretches in unfamiliar ways. Children are busy building their own lives, the house echoes more than it used to, and at times you find yourself wondering whether your presence still carries the same meaning it once did. What many people never tell you is that aging doesn't only bring wisdom, it also brings exposure, and that openness is exactly what some people look for. It doesn't announce itself loudly, it doesn't arrive with obvious danger, it slips in gently, like a breeze you barely notice at first. It might start with someone offering help carrying groceries, a neighbor asking casual questions about your finances, a long-lost acquaintance suddenly reappearing after decades of silence. On the surface, it all feels harmless, even comforting, but beneath it, there can be an unspoken agenda. What many people over 60 don't realize is that they are often targeted not for their strength, but for their kindness. Not for their knowledge, but for their loneliness. Consider James, a 74-year-old widower who lives alone since losing his wife several years ago. His days are simply tending his garden, watching old movies, enjoying quiet routines. One afternoon, a younger woman from the neighborhood began stopping by. She said she was just being friendly, checking in. At first, it felt nice. She brought baked goods, helped him with his phone, sat and talked for hours. Slowly, the questions changed. Could he spare a little money for gas? Could he help with a bill? James didn't want to seem unkind. He enjoyed the company. By the end of the year, much of his savings were gone, and she disappeared without explanation. Stories like this are more common than most people realize. Older adults aren't targeted because they are incapable. They're targeted because they are generous. They've spent their lives being dependable, supportive, and giving. Now, that same instinct to help, to avoid discomfort, to keep harmony is used against them. Beneath it all lies a deeper truth. Loneliness grows louder with age. Even if you don't name it, there's often a quiet ache for connection, for conversation, for being seen. And those with harmful intentions sense it immediately. They offer just enough warmth, just enough attention, until your guard softens. And once it does, so does your protection. There's also exhaustion, emotional more than physical. Years ago, you had the energy to challenge, question, and push back. Now, confrontation feels heavy. You'd rather keep things calm. So when someone crosses a line, you smile instead of speaking up. You carry the discomfort silently. But peace that requires sacrificing your well-being is not peace at all. It's quiet suffering. Then there's technology. The world has changed rapidly. Online banking, text messages, emails, impersonators posing as officials. Say it's overwhelming. One wrong click, one trusted voice on the phone, and everything you've worked for can vanish. You're not targeted because you're incapable, you're targeted because others assume you won't know how to fight back. And it's not only strangers. Often, the deepest harm comes from people you know. Margaret, an 81-year-old widow, shared how her nephew reappeared after years of silence. He said he wanted to reconnect. She was thrilled. Family meant everything to her. Soon, he was doing laundry at her house, borrowing her car, asking for cash. She said yes because she wanted to believe his affection was real. Deep down, she knew better, but admitting it felt too painful. That's the trap many fall into, believing that giving more will make someone stay, that saying yes will earn love. But people who genuinely care will never exploit your kindness. They won't punish you for setting limits. They won't vanish the moment you protect yourself. Anyone who only values you for what you provide isn't loving you, they're using you. As we grow older, kindness deepens. Life teaches patience. Loss builds compassion. You listen more. You interrupt less. You let go of small grievances. But kindness without protection becomes dangerous. There's a difference between being kind and being open to everyone. Kindness is thoughtful and intentional. Unfiltered openness invites harm. A smile doesn't always mean agreement. Silence is often mistaken for permission. Manipulation doesn't start loudly, it starts small. A neighbor who drops by too often, a caregiver who leans on you emotionally, a family member who uses guilt as leverage. They test limits quietly, watching how much you'll give before realizing they're not there for you, but for what you offer. Helen, 79, was known for her warmth. Her apartment became a gathering place. People came for coffee, advice, favors. She was always available. Eventually she told me she felt drained all the time. No one asked how she was doing. No one noticed when she needed help. They enjoyed her generosity, not her presence. Your heart may still be large, but your energy is not limitless. Emotional drains linger longer now, and when kindness is driven by fear of conflict, fear of being alone, it stops being kindness. It becomes surrender. Company that empties you is not companionship. Conversations that leave you depleted are not connections. This is why boundaries matter, not to push people away, but to protect what remains precious. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to rest. You don't owe anyone constant availability. If someone reacts with guilt or anger when you draw a line, ask yourself whether they miss you or simply miss what you gave them. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are care. They protect your time, your space, your finances, your peace. You've spent decades giving. Now is the time to be selective, not out of bitterness, but wisdom. If someone drains you, limits are necessary. If your no offends someone, it reveals that your yes was expected, not appreciated. Your home should feel safe. Your time should feel respected. Your intuition deserves trust. That uneasy feeling isn't paranoia, it's experience speaking. And the moment you stop allowing the wrong people access, the right connections have room to appear. Sometimes that means finding peace in your own company and realizing solitude is not loneliness. You've survived loss, change, sacrifice, and struggle. These years are meant to be lighter. Saying no is not harsh, it's honest. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's earned. And when others say you've changed, they're right. You've shifted from pleasing others to preserving yourself, from exhaustion to intention, from guilt to freedom. You don't owe anyone access to your heart simply because they've known you a long time. You owe yourself calm days, quiet mornings, and joy without apology. Be careful in this season, not because you are fragile, but because your peace has become priceless. And now, you know how to protect it.